Picture the scene. You are sitting at your desk, sipping your morning coffee. It is May 7th, 2026. We are exactly 24 hours away from the absolute explosion of the WNBA opening day. The anticipation is at an all-time fever pitch. The rosters are supposed to be locked. The media days are completely finished. The stage is perfectly, meticulously set for the greatest, most highly watched, and most financially lucrative professional women's basketball season in the entire history of the world. And then, a notification hits your phone. It is not a massive, emotional press release. It is not a heartfelt, multi-paragraph thank you letter from a franchise. It is a cold, clinical, soulless, two-line roster update posted on social media that hits the timeline like a car alarm going off at 3 in the morning. It reads, "Roster update. The Golden State Valkyries have waived guard Kate Martin. Period. End of sentence. Done. See you later. Do not let the door hit you on the way out." And just like that, with zero ceremony, zero warmth, and absolutely zero respect, one of the most beloved, recognizable names in all of women's basketball, a player who has literally been a top 5 jersey seller for back-to-back seasons, a player who the Golden State Valkyries heavily, unapologetically used in their own promotional marketing content all offseason, was thrown out onto the street the exact day before the season opener. Welcome back to WNBA She Serves. You already know exactly why you clicked on this video. If you are sick and tired of the corporate sports media giving front offices a free pass for terrible public relations, if you are exhausted by the sanitized, polite coverage of the ruthless, cutthroat business of professional basketball, you have found your absolute sanctuary. We do not do corporate spin. We do not protect the billionaires sitting in the executive suites. We give you the raw, unfiltered, high-octane truth. Grab a seat, lock in, and turn your volume all the way up to the absolute maximum level. Because today, we are surgically dissecting a story that is currently breaking the internet right in half. We are breaking down the ultimate betrayal of Kate "Money" Martin. We are exposing the horrific optics and the catastrophic PR failure of the Golden State Valkyries. We are analyzing the frantic, high-stakes 48-hour waiver wire window. And most importantly, we are diving headfirst into the absolute towering elephant in the room, the multi-million-dollar, internet-breaking possibility of the ultimate reunion with Caitlin Clark in Indianapolis. Will the Indiana Fever pull the trigger? Or will the harsh mathematical reality of the salary cap destroy the dreams of an entire fan base? Let us start by establishing the cold, hard, undisputed facts on the ground, because there is a massive amount of noise and speculation flying around the timeline right now. Kate Martin is not a bench warmer. She is not a human victory cigar brought in for the last 30 seconds of a blowout. Last season, she appeared in 42 of the Valkyries' 44 games. She averaged over 16 minutes a night as a key, trusted rotational piece off the bench. Her toughness, her relentless perimeter defense, and her incredibly high basketball IQ made her an immediate fan favorite. She was a foundational piece of the culture for the Golden State Valkyries, helping them become the first WNBA expansion team to make the playoffs in their inaugural season. You absolutely do not reach the postseason in year one without players like Kate Martin executing real winning basketball. The expectations for 2026 were sky high. She was expected to take on an even bigger leadership role for a team with rising championship aspirations. And then, training camp happened. On April 28th, Kate Martin suffered a grade 2 right quad strain. And where did she suffer this injury? She suffered it in practice, working for the Valkyries, putting her physical body and her career on the line for the franchise. Fast forward to a news conference on May 5th, just 2 days before this catastrophic waiver announcement. Martin told reporters that her recovery was progressing exceptionally well. She was smiling. She was officially listed as day-to-day. The absolute expectation from every single media outlet and independent analyst was that she would miss the first week or two of the regular season, finish her rehab, and slot directly back into the rotation she had rightfully earned. But instead of loyalty, she got the guillotine. The Valkyries announced they had waived her, and the absolute worst part was the deafening silence that followed. Neither head coach Natalie Nakase nor general manager Ohemanyanin stepped in front of a microphone to explain the reasoning. No press conference, no context, complete cowardly radio silence from the organizational leadership, while the internet erupted into absolute flames around them. And here is the microscopic detail that makes this specific roster move sting even more. Because context matters in the cutthroat business of the WNBA. Simultaneously, the Valkyries announced that they had filed for a replacement contract for center Ileana Rupert due to pregnancy. This means the roster math and the salary cap calculus were being frantically reconfigured behind closed doors in real time. We understand that professional sports is a business. We understand that general managers have to make brutal, highly unpopular decisions to field a competitive team under the strict constraints of the CBA. But from the outside looking in, from the perspective of the consumers who actually buy the tickets, pay for the streaming packages, and wear the merchandise, what this looked like was a billion-dollar organization coldly cutting a universally beloved player while she was literally sitting in their training room, actively rehabbing an injury she sustained while working for them. In the year 2026, with the massive, hyper-engaged, highly educated audience that this sport now commands, you simply cannot operate in the shadows like that. That kind of horrific optic is going to cost you dearly. The fans felt completely used. They felt like the Valkyries organization happily milked Kate Martin's name, her massive popularity, and her Iowa Hawkeye connections to market their expansion franchise and sell out their arena, and then discarded her like absolute garbage the exact second the roster math got complicated. The digital massacre in the comments section was immediate, and it was absolutely ruthless. The Golden State Valkyries are getting dragged right now, and frankly, they earned every single negative comment for their horrific communication strategy. But in professional sports, when one door violently slams shut, another one opens. And right now, Kate Martin is officially on the waiver wire. Every single one of the 15 teams in the WNBA has exactly 48 hours to submit a claim on her contract. If multiple teams submit claims, the league awards the contract to the team with the highest waiver priority. If nobody claims her in that window, she achieves unrestricted free agent status, holding her destiny entirely in her own hands. So, where does she go? Let us break down the absolute reality of her options, because we need to clear the air before we get to the main event. Let us start with the most logical, highly dangerous landing spot that does not reside in the state of Indiana. The Las Vegas Aces. Do not forget the history here. The Aces are the team that initially took a chance on her in the second round of the 2024 draft. She spent her rookie year in Las Vegas. She knows Becky Hammon's system. She completely understands their championship culture. The Aces recently lost second-year player Aaliyah Nye to the expansion draft, and they desperately need reinforcements at the guard position. And let us be very clear. The Aces did not willingly throw Kate Martin away last year because they disliked her game. They left her unprotected in the expansion draft purely because of roster math and salary cap management. Becky Hammon is a championship-caliber, genius-level head coach who knows exactly how to utilize smart, versatile, defensive-minded guards. If Las Vegas swoops in and reclaims Kate Martin, that is a legitimate, terrifying roster upgrade for a team that is perennially in the title conversation. You also have the Dallas Wings with Paige Buicker circulating in the rumors. You have the Atlanta Dream with Angel Reese. These are very real, very legitimate options for a player who brings elite defensive energy, winning intangibles, and an absolutely enormous, rabid following wherever she lands. But let's be totally, completely honest about why you are watching this video. Let's address the massive, towering elephant in the room. The storyline that literally broke the internet the exact second that waiver announcement dropped. Indianapolis, the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark. The ultimate reunion that 2 years of WNBA fandom has been dreaming about out loud. The legendary Iowa Hawkeyes backcourt reunited in the professional ranks. It is a storyline so perfectly scripted, so emotionally compelling, that Hollywood executives would reject it for being too dramatic. The second the news broke, Fever Nation went absolutely feral on social media. Caitlyn and Kate playing together would make me spontaneously combust. I need it in my life. WTF Fever. It's your time to reunite Kate Martin and Caitlin Clark, screamed another. The passion is raw. It is real, and it is completely understandable. These two women built something so incredibly magical at the University of Iowa that it captivated an entire nation and changed the trajectory of women's sports forever. They spent years together, leading the Hawkeyes to back-to-back national championship games. Their on-court chemistry is already hardwired into their DNA. But this is WNBA she serves. We do not deal in fantasies. We deal in the cold, hard, uncompromising reality of professional basketball operations. We tell you the truth, even when it hurts. Here is the actual mathematical situation regarding the Indiana Fever roster. As it stands today, Indiana's 12-player active roster is completely full, locked. If General Manager Lynn Dunn and Head Coach Stephanie White wish to make a standard contract claim on Kate Martin off the waiver wire, they would have to make a corresponding roster move. That means someone currently sitting in that locker room, someone who fought through training camp, earned their spot, and signed a contract, gets cut, fired, and sent home to bring Kate Martin in on a full deal. That is a massive, franchise-altering decision that involves real human careers and disrupts the carefully constructed chemistry of a locker room just hours before tip-off. But, and this is the massive flashing neon loophole that is making the fans hyperventilate, there is a second door. Under the new collective bargaining agreements, if Kate Martin successfully clears waivers without being claimed, the Indiana Fever could sign her to their open developmental contract spot for the 2026 season. Developmental players are allowed to practice with the full team, travel, and be activated for up to 12 games during the regular season. It is not a full roster spot. It absolutely does not guarantee meaningful playing time, but it gets her in the building. It gets her in the practice facility every single day. It gets her back on the court with Caitlin Clark, and it permanently opens the door to a standard contract activation if a tragic injury or an unexpected trade creates an opportunity over the course of the grinding season. Is this the perfect scenario? Is this the fairy tale ending? Let me give you my completely unfiltered, raw assessment. The developmental contract path is the most realistic version of this reunion. And tactically speaking, it might actually be the smartest move for both parties at this exact moment in time. Listen to the reality. Kate Martin just suffered a grade 2 quad strain. She is currently rehabbing a significant muscle injury. She is not game ready today. Bringing her in on a developmental deal completely removes the suffocating pressure of immediate nightly production. It allows the Fever medical staff to evaluate her health at close range. It allows her to rehab in peace, while simultaneously allowing her to reestablish that legendary telepathic chemistry with Caitlin Clark in closed-door practices before she ever steps onto the hardwood in a live, high-stakes regular season game. That is not a consolation prize. That is brilliant, calculated roster management. However, there is a massive counter-argument that we absolutely must acknowledge. Indiana's backcourt is already incredibly, suffocatingly crowded. You have Caitlin Clark running the show. You have Kelsey Mitchell on a Supermax deal. You have Lexi Hulls spacing the floor. You have Tyasha Harris, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, and rookie Raven Johnson. They literally have more guards on the roster than they have available minutes in a 40-minute basketball game. The Indiana Fever are absolutely not signing Kate Martin to be a 30-minute-a-night rotational player this season. They are not signing her to start, and the developmental limitation of only 12 game activations means she would not even have the mathematical opportunity to build genuine, consistent regular season momentum. There is a version of this story where a developmental deal is a brilliant culture addition. But there is also a very real version of this story where Kate Martin, a 25-year-old professional who just helped an expansion team reach the playoffs, looks at that developmental offer, looks at what she has rightfully earned in this league, and decides that she deserves a much more defined, highly respected opportunity somewhere else. If Kate Martin decides that a developmental contract is a slap in the face, if she decides that being a practice player is beneath her current skill level, and if a team like the Las Vegas Aces comes calling with a guaranteed spot and guaranteed minutes, she absolutely should take it without a single second of hesitation. Her career, her financial stability, and her professional legacy matter significantly more than our internet nostalgia. Professional athletes have to make ruthless, professional decisions, and sometimes the franchise that gives you the best runway for your career is not the one that generates the biggest headlines on Twitter. But here is the absolute, overarching truth that I keep coming back to. This exact saga, the drama, the betrayal, the waiver wire panic, the fierce loyalty of the fans, is exactly what makes the WNBA absolute, must-watch, appointment television